Tatra tatra, here and there, pura, cities, grama, villages, akara, mine, keka, agricultural places, vata, garden, karvata, villages in valleys, Sibira, military encampment, Braja, cowpens, Gosha, residential places of cowherd men, Sarga, resting places for pilgrims, Giri, hills, Vana, forests, Ashrama, in the residential places of hermits, Adisu, and so on. Anupatam, as he passed through, Avini Char Pasadeyi, by undesirable elements, wicked person, Paribhuyamanaha, been surrounded, Masikha Bhir, by flies, Eva, like, Vannagajaha, an elephant coming from the forest, Tarkana, Tarjana, by threats, Sadhana, beating, Avamehana, passing urine on the body, Stivana, spitting on the body, Grava, sacred, stones and stool, Rajaha, dust, Prachepa, throwing, Uttivata, passing air over the body, Duruktai, and by bad words, Tat, that, Aviganayan, without caring about, Eva, thus, Asat Samsthane, habitat not fit for a gentleman, Etasmin, in this, Deha, Upalakshane, in the shape of the material body, Sat Apadeshe, called real, Ubaya Anubhava Swarupena, by understanding the proper situation of the body and the soul, Swamahima, in his personal glory, Upasthanena, by being situated, Asamar Ropita Ham Mama Abhin Manatvat, from not accepting the misconception of I and mine. Avikandita Manaha, undisturbed in mind. Prithivim, all over the world. Eka Charaha, alone. Haribha Brahma, he wondered. Translation, Rishabdev began to tour through cities, villages, mines, countryside, valleys, gardens, military camps, cowbands, the homes of cowherdmen, transient hotels, hills, forests, hermitages. Wherever he traveled, all bad elements surrounded him, just as flies surround the body of an elephant coming from a forest. He was always been threatened, beaten, urinated upon, and spat upon. Sometimes people threw stone, stool, and dust at him. Sometimes people passed full air before him. But people called him many bad names and gave him a great deal of trouble. But he did not care for this. for I understood that the body is simply meant for such an end. He was situated on the spiritual platform, then in his spiritual glory. He did not care for all this material insult. In other words, he completely understood that matter and spirit are separate, and he had no bodily conception. Thus, without being angry at anyone, he walked through the whole world alone. I'm not going to ask you to repeat this because it's a bit too long. Purport by His Divine Grace Desi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Narottam Das Thakur says, Deha Smriti Nahi Yar, Samsara Bandhana Kahanta. When a person fully realizes that the material body and the world are temporary, he is not concerned with the pain and pleasure of the body, as Sri Krishna advised in the Bhagavad Gita. Matraspastatu kaunteya sitosna sugadu kada agamapayino nityas tam tatekshva bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception or Skyana Bharata. One must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. As far as Rishabdev is concerned, it has already been explained. Idam Sariram Mama Durvyabhavyam. He did not at all possess a material body. He did not at all possess a material body, therefore he was tolerant of all trouble offered to him by the bad elements in society. Consequently, he could tolerate people throwing stool and dust upon him and beating him. His body was transcendental and consequently he did not at all suffer pain. He was always situated in spiritual bliss as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 1861. Isvaraha par sarva bhutanam hridesha chunatistati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material energy. Since the Lord is situated in everyone's heart, He is in the heart of the hawks and dogs also. If hawks and dogs in their material body live in filthy places, one should not think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His Paramatma feature also lives in a filthy place. Although Lord Rishabdev was maltreated by the bad elements of the world, he was not at all attracted. Therefore, it is stated here, Swa Mahima Avasthanena. He was situated in his own glory. He was never saddened due to being insulted in many ways described above. Amagyanatimirandasya Jnanam Jnana Shalakaya Chakshadam Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Satritam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadama Vidati Swaparandikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sakajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Shavatam Shavatam Paritam Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitam Cha Jai Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shravanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namarom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Jini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पश्चाद्यदेशकारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाशरि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So thank you very much for joining in our Srimad Bhagavatam class. Chapter 5, text 5, text 30. Fifth canto, fifth chapter, text 30. So here you can see the exalted behavior of Rishabdeva. So here explains that how he was transcendentally situated and not affected in any way, harmed by the uh, wicked and intolerant person. So this behavior exemplifies a person who is actually very advanced spiritually. One of the qualifications of a spiritual is that he is transcendental to all this, particularly to anger. Hmm? Yes, Krishna says here, so in this verse, Lord Krishna said, O disciple of Brahaspati, there's virtually no saintly man in this world capable of resettling his own mind after it has been disturbed by insulting words of uncivilized men. In other words, to tolerate anger is very, very difficult. Very, very. Where Krishna said there's virtually no saintly man in this world capable of resettling his own mind after it has been disturbed by the insulting words of uncivilized men. So you see how it is not some easy thing to do. You can do, no problem. Huh? Yes. Krishna says further, sharp arrows which pierce one's chest and reach the heart do not cause as much suffering as arrows of harsh, insulting words that become lodged within the heart when spoken by uncivilized men. See how words are more detrimental than even weapons. Hmm? Right? Weapon, yeah, the wound is healed, finished. But the words that's spoken, it will stay in memory forever. Yes? Huh? Right? Weapon you throw, you can withdraw. But words you say, you cannot withdraw those words. Yes? Yes or no? Huh? That's why Krishna is saying here. Understand? Arrows can pierce one chest and reach the heart, do not cause as much pain as the spoken harsh words. Hmm? So here we will come to it later. So the point is that lust, after lust, no, yes. So from lust, you get what? Hmm? How do you create this anger?
You're not fulfilling the lust.
Hmm? The Bhagavad Gita, you know, right? Hello? You know, right? You don't know? You're not writing down anything? I'm speaking and you're not writing, then how you going to learn? Then every time you will say, I don't know. Yeah? So in the Bhagavad Gita, I will go to that. So here, this is a famous verse that I'm sure you learned by heart. Yes? Is it yes or no? You not writing down anything? So what are you doing? You're chanting. Then why you come and sit here for what? Hello? Huh? ध्यायतो विषाय पुंसम संगतेषुपजायते संगत संजयते काम काम क्रोध vijayate. This is very important. This is spoken by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. While contemplating with the object of senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger rises here. So this is Krishna saying here in the Bhagavad Gita, right? You understand? That means lust, as he says this now, lust is not fulfilled then. But actually there is another place Krishna explained, another place he explained this point. विषयेषु गुण आद्यासत् पुंसुं संग ततो भवेत् संग तत्र भवेत् काम कामात् एव कलिर्नरनम. Here Krishna is saying another thing, isn't it? What is he saying? Kamat eva kalirnirnam. You know what is the meaning of kali? Yeah? Quarreling. So from lust, what do you get? Quarreling. One who accepts the material sense object as desirable suddenly becomes attached to them. From such attachment, lust arises. The same point that is said in the Bhagavad Gita. And this lust creates quarrel among men. So before anger, there's what? What is that? Quarreling. So quarreling precedes. What? Quarreling precedes the lust. That's why lust is so dangerous. You understand? If you become lusty, then you are opening your doors to quarreling. And when you start quarreling, then what happens? Kaler durvishashas krodhas tamastam anuvartate tamas grashyate pumsam setana vyapini durtam. From quarrel arises intolerable anger. So from quarrel arises intolerable anger. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna just cut short. From lust you get to anger. But here he's telling a little more elaborately. Then, followed by darkness of ignorance, this ignorance quickly overtakes a man's broad intelligence. Hmm? In other words, when he gets angry, he loses his intelligence. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says that he becomes bewildered. And then, bewilderment, you lose intelligence, right? Then, see what happens? Oceanly Uddhava, a person bereft of real intelligence is considered to have lost everything. Deviated from the actual purpose of his life, he becomes dull, just like a dead person. So see how dangerous it is to get angry. You understand? It makes you become what? Lose your real intelligence, and then you lose everything. Deviated from actual purpose of his life, he becomes dull, just like a dead person. Is it his point? Are you understanding? Huh? Because of absorption in sense gratification, one cannot recognize himself or others. Living uselessly in ignorance like a tree, one is merely breathing this way. Backwards. So you can see how dangerous this whole thing is. Huh? Anger is very detrimental. Some men practice severe penances to cross beyond our influence, which is like an immeasurable ocean with endless waves of hunger, thirst, heat, cold, and other conditions, brought about by the passing of time, such as the sensuous vein and the urges of the tongue and sense organ. Nevertheless, although crossing this ocean of sense gratification through severe penance, such person foolishly drowned in a calf's footprint when conquered by useless anger. Thus they exhaust the benefit of their difficult austerities in vain. Is it? Although doing severe tapasya, it happened. Vishwamitra, first he was attacked by lust, Menaka. He fell down. Then second round he was also doing austerity. What's the name? I don't know. The other Apsara she came. And this time he understood this is another trick. And then this time he cursed her and he got lost by anger. First he fell down by lust. Second time he fell down with, explained here. So you may do big tapasya. Huh? Hello. Correct. But if you lose yourself to anger, then what is the benefit of all these difficult austerities? Actually, austerity is not the solution to clear your anger. No. You understand? Austerity is not the method. In fact, when you do all these hard austerities, like all these so-called impersonalists, they're doing very big tapasya, sitting in the fire around, put fire on their head. Winter time, they go into the water until the neck, I mean, not easy to do though. You think you can do this kind of thing? Can. You know how cold it is? I was there in, where was that place? Huh? What is that? Badrikashram. I was there. I went to the river Ganga, which is flowing there. I just wanted to take some water. So I brought the lota and I scooped, and the water was so cold the lota gone. I was thinking, wow, when I sit inside here and up to neck, I mean, that's why Garuda, he made the, if you go to Badrikashram, there's a place where hot spring, hot water coming out for, because Narayan is doing tapasya there and Garuda could not, tolerate him doing all this severe tapasya. So he made the hot spring down there. So if you go, you can also take bath there. Nice place. So my point is this, that this austerity is a very severe austerity. It hardens the heart. Your heart become hard. That's why when they're so hard-hearted and they get very much agitated by a little bit of what? Inconvenience. Or they become angry. You understand? That's why it says in this verse, what's the use of all this tapasya when you drown, in what? Anger. You follow? Also, it says here, what is that verse? Dhruva Maharaj, you know? Do you know or you don't know? Dhruva Maharaj, the chapter forward. Nobody knows. Huh? Hello? Hmm? 411? So here, my dear king, just consider what I've said to you, which will act as medicinal treatment upon disease. Control your anger, for anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. I wish all good fortune for you. Please follow my instruction. You see that point? Control your anger. For anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. Are you writing it down? Hello, Pandit? Huh? So you see how dangerous it is to get. Huh? You understand? That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada quoted the verse, the first thing, what is that verse? Matras pastas, 2 what? 14. First he said, Dehinosmi yata de, you're not the body. Second instruction he gives what? You must learn how to tolerate. Tolerate means what? Tolerate anger. Correct? You understand? See how detrimental it is to become. Why? Because today Rishabdev is going and he's getting attacked. They're throwing stool, they're throwing. Huh? Yes. And he's not shaken. You know, somebody throws stool on you, can. You will file what? Defamation. Huh? Police, fire brigade, everybody will go. Yes. See how much. That's why it says here also. Says here. O soul of the universe, the conditioning of one's personality in material life is very strong. Therefore, it is very difficult even for learned man to tolerate the offenses committed against them by ignorant people. Only your devotees who are fixed in your loving service and who have achieved peace by residing at your lotus feet are able to tolerate such offenses. You understand this point? So you are champion, no? Okay, you are devotee, right? Huh? All of you can tolerate it. Yeah? Hello, Mr. Kurup. Can? What does it mean? Correct? So who is that devotee? That's the question. Understand? But the devotee who have captured the lotus feet of the, you understand? You have captured the Lord's lotus feet. Huh? Hello? Yes, must be. You're not angry. Cool. There's a Mr. Cool, right? They say. Yeah? Cool. The women don't get angry, I think. They don't get angry, women. Wow, they're very good. So you see how this is the solution. To control lust, you must offer that to Krishna. Unless you transcend, come to the transcendental plane. How to do that? You must take shelter of course, Guru and Krishna. You cannot go to Krishna without the Guru. That's not possible. So that way you overcome lust. You know that verse, right? Hello? Which is the verse? Don't know nothing. Who is that? Kama Arpanam. You know that verse? Huh? I did so much service to this lust. Kama dinam kati katita palita dur. I think it's in the Bhagavad Gita also this verse. Huh? What? 224 purport, Bhagavad Gita. Okay, we'll go there and come back here again. Huh? Bhagavad Gita here, 224. Is not there? 224? Hello? Bhagavad Gita, well, I was easy for you, no? Bhagavad Gita, so you can refer. Not in 224. Kamadinam. Hello? Can you? Madhya 20 what? Madhya?
22:16.
So here, what?
16.
This is not the verse.
16. Next one.
Next one.
Yeah.
So here, oh my Lord, there is no limit to unwanted orders of lusty desires. Although I have rendered these desires so much service, they have not shown any mercy to me. I have not been ashamed to serve them, nor have I even desired to give them up. Oh my Lord, O head of the Yadu dynasty, recently, however, my intelligence has been awakened, and now I am giving them up. Due to transcendental intelligence, I now refuse to obey the unwanted orders of these desires. And I now come to you to surrender myself at your Lord, fearless lotus feet. Kindly engage me in your personal service and save me. So this lust can be overcome if we surrender to the lotus feet of the. Understand this point? Huh? So lust, to overcome lust, you need the help of Krishna. To overcome anger, we read this now, you need the mercy of Krishna. So to overcome lust, anger, greed, envy, all these material qualities, you must get yourself connected to Krishna. Otherwise, it is not possible. It is not. You understand? Huh? So I hear in this verse, Ushtrijitam in Sanskrit. Ushtrijitam atha yadupate sampratam labda buddhi tvam ayatah sharanam abhayam mam nikunja sve atma. Dāsa. So you see how important that our devotion to the Lord is crucial. If you don't connect with the Lord, then you cannot overcome lust, you cannot overcome anger, you cannot overcome envy, you cannot, nothing you, and these are the what? 6 shackles of the conditioned soul. Just now we read the sadhus, they try to become very expert in doing all big tapasya, but they don't have any connection with Krishna. So they fall down in useless. They drown themselves in useless. And as we shown example of Vishwamitra, correct? Yes? Hmm? So you see how Krishna's material energy is not something you can overcome. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, what does he say? Deviyesha gunamai mama maya turatya. Mam eva prapadyante mayam etam. It is not possible. It is not. Unless you surrender to me, then only you can cross over my mind. So if you think you can become successful without Krishna, that's what? That's an illusion. You cannot escape Krishna's what? Material energy. And they are formidable. Krishna says, Devi Esaguna, right? Mama Maya, Turatyaya. It's not some, what is Turatyaya means? Difficult to overcome. Understand? Who can overcome lust? Who can overcome anger? Who can overcome all this? Unless you are given that what? That strength. From where? Where you get the strength? From Krishna. Through the service to the spiritual master. You understand? Of course, in this case, Rishabdev is Krishna himself, God. But I'll show you another case where this Avanti Brahmin, he is actually taking shelter of the Lord. And how they were spitting, when he was going to eat, they passed urine on his food. He went through so many calamities. And then he started singing this song. Who to get angry? That's all my karma. Why I should curse someone? Yeah? You understand? So that to get that kind of a knowledge, that's why Krishna why he has to repeat this instruction. So to teach us that how we must connect ourselves to Krishna, only then we can overcome. And sometimes they ask me, the Prabhu, how long to tolerate? How long must I tolerate? Huh? As long as Krishna wants you to tolerate, what to do? Correct? Yes? No spiritual program works without this what? Difficulty. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, spiritual is a path of what? Not a path of roses. You understand? Don't expect he's coming, oh, wow, now that I'm free from Maya, I'll be in what? In paradise. Hello? There's always going to be what? Problem. Look at Prabhupada, his life. Look at all great devotees. Haridas Thakur, bitten 22, and bitten so bad that the bitter was saying, why don't you just die, Huh? He was telling you, please die, why are you staying alive? That much beating. 22 marketplaces he was beaten. Who can tolerate this? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw him, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took all the beatings on his back, transferred his suffering. See? So this devotee is, a different level. Because they want to serve Krishna, just like Arjuna, I was giving the class yesterday, right? Ashwatthama was purposely shooting arrow aiming at Krishna. Purposefully. Because you're not supposed to kill the chariot driver. You cannot. By fighting standard, you must fight with the one who is fighting, throwing arrows, not the guy driving the what? The horses. But he purposely was shooting arrow at Krishna, and Arjuna was seeing it. He went in front of Krishna and took the arrow. This verse is there in Nectar of Devotion. And he took the arrows, and the arrows was hitting, and because it's painful, arrows are fun, is it? Hello? It goes into the body, but because he was doing it for Krishna, he was feeling pleasure that these arrows were like flower garlands. You understand? That's why devotees, when they take some trouble for Krishna, it is troublesome, yes, pain, but because it is for Krishna, they forget the pain. It becomes pleasurable. You understand? That's the devotees. Of course, this is a real devotee. If someone who is a neophyte is a Prabhu, I came to Hare Krishna, only I got problems. I think I'm going home. Huh? You understand? That is a neophyte. But an advanced devotee, tolerant. How much tolerant? They are tolerant. In fact, Kunti Devi is saying, give me more problems. See how she's saying, why you want? Because when I have problems, you are coming to help. I can see you because I have problems. And by seeing you, everything is okay. You see how devotees are thinking. You understand? So with Krishna's help, a devotee can overcome all these difficulties. You learn how to tolerate. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, how much he tolerated his father. His father went to the extent of killing him. Huh? His father was killing him, throwing him in the cliff and the snakes and the elephants and you name it. Finally he gave poison, you please die. You know. And he was shocked. Of course, Krishna was protecting him. So you see, this is the devotee's strength. A devotee can counteract, but no, they just rely on Krishna's. That is the idea. We must learn how to come to that stage. Especially all of us are going to face a crucial test, and that's going to come at the time of death, where everything will fail. The body will fail, nobody can help, everything is gone. So the body at that time, if he can depend on Krishna solely, then his life is successful. See? But he starts cursing everybody, why I did so much tapasya, chanting these things, why I have to be in this situation. Then he's failed the test. You know, I had one boy who was chanting 16 rounds, he got cancer. I'm going to die. Then he started, why, Krishna has given the cancer to me, and why, And he stopped chanting. He stopped. Watching all Karmi movie and all, and passed away like that. So don't think that it is an easy thing to handle. You understand? Because at the time when you're suffering, to control the mind and think of Krishna requires a lot of strength. That's why Krishna is, training us. How we have to become very tolerant. We go through so many hardships to become tolerant, depend on Krishna, praying to Krishna to give us intelligence, strength. And only when you get Krishna, then you got the strength. That also says in the Bhagavad Gita. Where is in the Bhagavad Gita he said this thing? Anyone? Hmm? Hello? Hello? Yam labdva chaparam labam manyate nadikam tata yasmin sito na dukkena gurunapi vicharyate tadvidyat dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga samgidam. This part here. In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self with a pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. When situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. Do you understand? Material contact is always miserable. You know that? Do you know? Yeah? See, due to this external energy, the living entity, although transcendental to the three modes of material nature, thinks himself as a material product and thus undergoes the reaction of material miseries. Maya means misery. Maya means Maya does not mean happiness. Happiness, yeah, some temporary happiness. Yashyaham by Shuyamananayam Krishna Parama Puruse Bhaktirutpadyate Pumsam Soka Moha Bhayapaha. See this? Huh? Simply by why? By one's giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up by at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. The moment you come in contact with Krishna, then this lamentation, illusion, and finish. Yes? Hello? So the secret is to take up the process of Krishna consciousness. Then yes, you will get the necessary strength. But if you don't get yourself fixed up, then you'll be easily overcome by anger, uh, lust, anger, uh, greed, enviness, one after the other. The whole life will be messed up. Right? Yes? So you can see here the example of this Avanti Brahman, how he tolerated all this. He was insulted. So this sannyasi, he was traveling kind Uddhava, seeing him as an old dirty beggar, rowdy person to dishonor him with many insults. Some of this person would take away his sannyasi rod, some the water pot which he was using as a begging bowl. Some took his deerskin seat, some his chanting bead. Some would steal his torn, ragged clothing. Displaying this thing before him, they would pretend to offer them back but would then hide them again. When he was sitting on the bank of a river about to partake of the food that he had collected by his begging, such sinful rascals would come and pass urine on it, and they would dare to spit on his head. Hello? How much to tolerate? Yeah? Correct. Although he had taken a vow of silence, they would try to make him speak, and if he did not speak, they would beat him with sticks. Others would chastise him, saying, "This man is just a thief." And others would bind him up with rope, shouting, "Tie him up, tie him up." Hello, how much to tolerate? Hmm? Nowadays, you go out like this, you get arrested. Only in India you can do this. Anywhere else in the country, you walk around with a stick, you'll be arrested. You sleep in the park, you'll be arrested. You can sleep in the park. Cannot. They would criticize and insult him, saying this man is just a hypocrite and a cheat. He makes business of religion simply because he lost all his wealth and his family threw him out. Hey, how much? uh, Some would ridicule him by saying, "Just see this greatly powerful sage. He is as steadfast as Himalaya mountain. By practice of silence, he strives for his goal with great determination, just like a heron." Other persons would pass foul air upon him, and sometimes others would bind this twice born Brahmana in chains and keep him captive like a pet animal. The Brahmana understood that all his suffering from other living beings, from higher forces of nature, and from his own body was unavoidable, being allotted to him by providence. See how tolerant he is. uh, Even while being insulted by this low class man who were trying to effect his downfall, he remained steady in his spiritual duty, fixing his resolution in the mode of goodness. He began to chant the following song. So, this is a song that is chanted. Brahmana said, "These people are not the cause of my happiness and distress. Neither the demigods, my own body, the planets, my past work or time. Rather, it is the mind alone that causes happiness and distress, perpetuates the rotation of material life." So you see how he analyzes. All these things that I'm going through, it is all due to my uh,
Mind.
the powerful mind actuates the function of the material modes from which evolve the different kinds of material activities in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. From the activities in each of these modes develop the corresponding status of life. So the mind can be in the mode of goodness, mind can be in the mode of passion, mind can be mode of, accordingly we get the resultant action. Although present along with the struggling mind with this material world, the super soul is not endeavoring because it's already endowed with transcendental enlightenment. Acting as my friend, he simply witnessed from his transcendental position. I, the infinitesimal spirit soul, on the other hand, have embraced this mind, which is the mirror reflecting the image of the material world. Because I have become engaged in enjoying objects of desire, I am entangled due to contact with the modes of nature. So he understood about the super soul and he understood about his position. Super soul, although as Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, there are two birds sitting on the same tree. One is witnessing and the other one is enjoying the. This is a very important word, I think. Charity, prescribed duty, observance of major and minor regulative principles, hearing from scripture, pious work, purifying vows, all have their final aim, the subduing of the mind. Indeed, concentration of the mind on the Supreme is the highest yoga. How he is giving his realization. The mind is the cause of all problem, and to solve this problem, the mind must be brought to the lotus feet of the. If one's mind is perfectly fixed and pacified, then tell me what need does one have to perform ritualistic charity and other pious rituals? And if one mind remains uncontrolled, lost in ignorance, then what is the use of this engagement for him? The Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also said, the mind can be your best friend and it can be your worst. Yes? 666, 566. So see how important the whole thing is based. Without control of the mind, a person does crazy things. Yes? Yes? This verse is very important. We have quoted this verse many times. All the senses have been under the control of the mind since time immemorial. And the mind himself never comes under the sway of any other. He is stronger than the strongest, and his godlike power is fearsome. Therefore, anyone who can bring the mind under control becomes the master of all the senses. Hello? You're not writing down. Why? You know everything. Hello? Huh? You don't want to write down. I don't like this class, Prabhu. Crazy class, you know. Speaking all nonsense. Is it? Hello? Is it? Then why are you not writing anything down? Huh? You know all these verses. You know all these verses. Huh? Hello? What are you doing? You're writing it down? So this is very important. This verse is very important verse. We quote this many times. Understand? Next verse is also very important. Failing to conquer this irrepressible enemy, the mind, whose urges are intolerable and torment the heart, many people completely bewildered and create useless quarrel with others. Now we come back to the subject of quarreling. We just now said lust and then what? Quarreling. So how quarreling starts? Because we have failed to conquer the. Understand? This is the problem. Understand? And thus they conclude that other people are either their friend, their enemies, or parties indifferent to them. This is what happened. Oh, he's my friend. He's my enemy. You create what? Politics. You create what? In the office, this is going on. Yes? Please don't bring it here. It is what? Don't bring it. That's why we teach you that you come for Mangalarti, you come here and chant. Don't put the feedback on the floor. You come here and learn how to do all these activities. Why? So that you go above the modes of material nature. If you don't go above the material nature, you will bring all this consciousness and this will pollute everybody's consciousness. Quarreling will start, party, politics, everything will start. Yes, I like him, I don't like this. This is going on. Yes, hello. It's all coming from the. You understand? Huh? You understand? See how he has analyzed everything. Huh? He did not blame the guy who's throwing the stool or whatever. He said the problem is mine. Understand? Persons who identify this body, which is simply the product of material mind, are blinded in their intelligence, thinking in terms of I and mine. And because their illusion is of this is I, but that is someone else, they wander in endless darkness. So this me and my platform makes us take birth after birth after birth. Endless darkness. Endless. So we should become intelligent. The crux of the problem is to get the mind under control. Otherwise, it's not possible for us. That's why we have a very strong program. What is that? Chanting Hare Krishna, waking up in the morning, taking Krishna Prasadam, reading the Shastra, associating with the body. All these are very, very important to control the crazy mind. Control the crazy mind. Otherwise, it is not possible. If you say that these people are the cause of my happiness and distress, then where is the place of the soul in such a conception? This happiness and distress pertain not to the soul but to the interaction of material body. Someone bites his tongue with his own teeth, at whom can he become angry in his suffering? See, what a great example. Right? If you bite your own tongue, you can blame who? So all these people are creating trouble for me, but this is not pertaining to me, the soul. They cannot beat my soul, right? Yes? See how he's analyzing. If you say that the demigods who rule the bodily senses cause suffering still, how can such suffering apply to the spirit soul? This acting and being acted upon are merely reactions of the changeable senses and the presiding people. When one limb of the body attacks another, with whom can a person in the body be angry? Sometimes they blame the stars, because of the stars. Yeah? You understand? But the real thing is that nothing can affect the spirit soul. And I am the soul, I am not the body. If the soul himself were the cause of happiness and distress, then we could not blame others. Since happiness and distress would be simply the nature of the soul. According to this theory, nothing except the soul actually exists, and if we were to perceive something beside the soul, that would be illusion. Therefore, since happiness and distress do not actually exist in this concept, why become angry at oneself or others? How is terribly varying the soul, how it can become happy and distressed. It doesn't affect the soul. So why I should unnecessarily be angry with others? What's the use? See how he deducing his whole understanding. If we examine the hypothesis that the planets are immediate cause of suffering and happiness, then also where is the relationship with the soul? Who is eternal? After all, the effect of the planets applies to only things that have taken birth. Expert astrologers have moreover explained how the planets are only causing pain to each other. Therefore, since the living entity is distinct from this planet and from the material body, against whom should he vent his anger? You understand? He's understanding that I am not this body. All these things are all based on material understanding. If we assume that fruitive work is the cause of happiness and distress, we still are not dealing with the soul. The idea of material work arises when there is a spiritual actor who is conscious and material body that undergoes the transformation of happiness and distress as a reaction to such work. Since the body has no life, it cannot be actual recipient of happiness and distress, nor can the soul, who is ultimately completely spiritual and alone from the material body. Since karma thus has no ultimate base in either the body or the soul, at whom can one become angry? So if you think this is because of my karma, then how can karma affect the soul? The soul is transcendental to this. So you see how he is deducing, because this is another verse. If we accept time as the cause of happiness and distress, that experience still cannot apply to the spirit soul, since time is a manifestation of the Lord's spiritual potency, and the living entities are also expansions of the Lord's spiritual potency manifesting through time. Certainly, a fire does not burn its own flames or sparks, nor does the cold harm its own snowflakes or hail. In fact, the spirit soul is transcendental and beyond the experience of material happiness and stress. At whom, therefore, should one become angry? Can the fire burn its own flames? Huh? The false ego gives shape to illusory material existence and thus experiences material happiness and distress. The spirit soul, however, is transcendental to material nature. It can never actually be affected by material happiness and distress in any place, under any circumstance, or by the agency of any person. A person who understands this has nothing whatsoever to fear from material creation. So we have to learn how to understand that we are. This is a very important verse, this 2357. It is given to the sannyasis when it becomes sannyas. This mantra is also asked to chant this mantra. I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of nescience by being firmly fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. This was approved by the previous acharyas who were fixed in the firm devotion of the Lord, Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus is his conclusion. I am a spirit soul is not finished. You understand? It's not that I understand I am spirit soul is not finished. You firmly understand that I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of wisdom by being firmly fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. That's the conclusion. You understand this point? Huh? See, so you see how relevant it is that The person understands that he is not this material body. And of course, after chanting this song, he, you know, Sri Krishna says that becoming detached from the loss of his property, this sage gave up his moroseness. He left home taking sannyas and began to travel about the earth. Even when insulted by foolish rascals, he remained unserved from his duty and chanted this song. See, this understanding how you can overcome anger. So Rishabdev and this Brahmin are not different. One is the Supreme Lord, and the other is the servant. So until and unless we get contact with Krishna and understand that we are not this body, but a servant of the Lord, then yes, we become rightly situated to tolerate all these difficulties that we are encountering. If we don't get that connection, then we will become bewildered. And then inevitable showdown, fighting, this, that, quarreling. What that? It's now what? Quarreling, correct? The root cause. Because of the uncontrolled mind. So do you understand today's topic? Yes? No?
Yes, sir.
You have a question? Yes?
Prabhu, just now in the points when you were telling, you told one point like we need to tolerate till Krishna use the order or something like that. So how do we recognize that? Okay, now let's say like with Pandavas, Krishna was there, so they tolerated for a long time, and then Krishna told this is the time for war, and then they went further. But how in our case?
So you go and reveal your mind to someone who is advanced. This is what you have to do to reveal your, I've got this problem, Prabhu, what shall I do? You understand? Then he'll advise you accordingly. You do like this, you do like this. Because Arjuna and Krishna are there. So you have devotees, you think whoever you can, associate with and ask direction and advice according to Shastra, Sadhu, Guru. When you take that advice, then you will be happy. Yes? Understand? Yeah? There's no lack of advice. And if you can also take advice from your mind, that's going to be dangerous. Have you read all the thing about your mind? Yes? No, Prabhu, my mind is not like that. What is your mind? Sanely. Hello? Yes? Cannot. Nowhere in the scriptures it says that my mind says so. That means it's finished. Is what? Cannot talk about your mind. No mental. It's all spiritual. Yes? Anything else? Is clear? All right. So thank you so much for your kind patience. I hope you have tolerated. All glories to all of you. All glories to Prabhu. Hare Krishna. More is it some question? No question.